Hey everyone, we're back. Concealed Carry Expo. Riley, I'm sitting here with Tim Schmidt, of course. Everyone knows Tim. And hopefully you know also Rob Pincus of ICE Training. And I'm just so excited to have the two of you together because you guys have built a relationship over the last several years that just keeps getting better and better, more mature, more exciting. I mean, mature and exciting could go in the same sentence, right?
Sure. In this case, absolutely. Yeah, I think so.
I couldn't agree more. You almost might want to say it was like a slow dance over the course of many years. And kind of a weird analogy, but
I know. I like your eyes. I like the eye contact we're making. I'm okay with this.
No, seriously though, I think the connection between ICE, Rob, and the USCCA has been a win for not only ICE and the USCCA, but all of the people that are learning from this as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's the instructor network that USCCA has built up over the last few years, built on programs that are very much synergistic with what we do. I mean, I was working with Michael Martin. We talked about it yesterday, a decade ago. 2008 was when he first reached out to me and said, hey, can I use some of the stuff that you've done the research on Combat Focus in my book? Absolutely. And I think 2009, I've had members in 2005.
Wow.
My membership card of USCCA. 2009 was the advisory board. 2012 was the counter ambush distance education program, which was both of our first forays into distance education and online testing and stuff. And it's just been very organic. And it's the timing was right. And this project launched, the book launched yesterday, and it's been about a year in the making. I'm excited about it.
And really, this what we have here on the table. So, guys, you got to get a copy of the new book here. This is really the next reiteration, the next evolution of combat-focused shooting.
Yeah, actually, we officially, with the launch of the PDN training tour this year in March, I made a decision. It was actually made last year. I announced it at our instructor conference in September to our internal team, but I publicly announced the idea that we are retiring the CFS brand as of March after 15 years. And, Tim knows better than anybody how hard it is to build a brand. But we have a lot of name recognition. A lot has been invested in. A lot of independent instructors have invested a lot in it around the world. But the fact is, it's not the right name. It never was, probably. In 2003, it seemed like a good idea, but we've used dynamic focus and defensive focus. We've talked about intuitive defensive shooting. A lot of the independent instructors that are certified to teach it just call it defensive shooting in their local region, in their local businesses. So we wanted to make it more descriptive, and the liaison, the collaboration with USCCA was the perfect timing to do it. To say, okay, it's the defensive shooting fundamentals program, level 1, level 2 book will be out in June, and this is an intuitive defensive shooting program. So let's just call it that.
Yeah, and the way I read this is not that you're like taking combat focus shooting and just throwing it in the garbage.
Right.
It's more like that's part of your identity, it's part of your history, part of the evolution. Now it's on to the next piece of that. So, I mean, what does that look like for you, Tim, and USCCA? I mean, obviously I think you're excited about this, but where do you see this going?
So certainly very excited. Before I tell you where I see this is going, I just want to add a comment about one of the things that I appreciate the most about Rob Pincus is a single word: resiliency. So over the course of these last years, like you said, Rob, it started in 2005. I mean, yes, we've had a few fits and starts, and we've tried some things and they didn't work out. We tried a few things and we screwed them up, and I really appreciate, Rob, how you've been just single focused. Hey, we're going to get to the place where we need to be eventually, and I really feel like now we've got some good traction. And so I'm really excited about the future. I think that Rob is injecting a whole new life, a whole new energy into all of our instructors, the entire teams. I've heard nothing but positive thoughts and responses when we announced that hey, we're partnering together. So I'm excited about the next batch of books that are going to be coming out, which I know that the team's already working on. And
we had a great meeting yesterday. It's funny when we look at, I was just over here doing something at the demo stage, a little presentation for about half an hour, and I don't know it's a small space, like 100, 150 people kind of hanging out there, and I'm looking out, and there's so many people that are wearing USCCA hats and shirts and stuff, but they're ICE training company students or instructors. And there's a lot of overlap in the 1,500 or so instructors that are in USCCA and the few hundred instructors we have active in ICE training company programs. I think there's like a 40 or 50% overlap we found out when we looked at the names. There's so many people who are familiar with the components of this in USCCA land and in ICE land or CFS land. There's so many people who are members or familiar with USCCA. Right. It really, we're not forcing anything. It really is a natural merging of the way we explain and the way we teach concepts that have overlapped anyway. You know, defensive shooting fundamentals have evolved a lot over the last 2 or 3 decades. And USCCA and Michael Martin's work and Steve Fisher running the training division and the whole team have been very much in line with what we've been doing at CFS anyhow. I mean, we've got our leadership, some of them out here at the show, who are going to become the training counselors for this next level under the USCCA banner, because that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah,
I want to do curriculum development. I want to teach. I want to write more books. I want to do videos. I want to make Personal Defense Network big. I want to help make USCCA bigger. And the last thing I need to be worried about is like the incredible logistical workload of organization and admin that comes with organization development and building and supporting it. And you got the master sitting right to your left. But his organization is amazing, and watching it grow over the last 10, 12, 15 years has been amazing.
Yeah, that's a great point, Robin. And it really is a good fit. It's a good fit because we do have a great machine, and we have amazing people that are really good at organizing and putting all this stuff together and essentially saving you from tons of headaches. And you bring what you bring to the table, which is expertise and an unquenchable thirst for getting to that, whatever the next thing's going to be.
I was thinking, like you surround yourself with great people, right? You surround yourself, and with my instructor staff, I try to surround myself with guys, even our students. We want our students to challenge us and push us and all that stuff. But there's the other side of that, which is surround yourself with great people who do what you don't do well, right? And I've been at this for a long time, right? 97, I went first shot job, and I've been in this for over 20 years professionally. Teaching since the mid-90s, the root of some of this stuff comes out of my student experiences, military, law enforcement, and I got 300 active instructors. In 2005, we did our first instructor development for Naval Special Warfare instructors, and it's been over a dozen years, and we've got a few hundred instructors, and they're very active, passionate guys. But I'm not an organization builder. I'm a curriculum developer and a teacher and an educator. These guys help build this organization and create this organization of instructors with our material. We're going to be able to impact more people, because like Tim said, it's not about our businesses or our friends or our group. All this is awesome, but we're all doing this to provide a service, right? USCCA provides this amazing education in a lot of different ways, including the shooting skills. It's not just an organization that's selling. It's not just an organization. It's a club and a hat. The educational piece, when I hear the people in the call center, the way they deal with the customers, they're not just helping with passwords and logins. They're helping with, like, what holster do I need? And the education that you guys give to those people is amazing. And it's what makes me very, very comfortable about the quality control and where this is going to go. Yeah,
that's a great point. I mean, quality control is critical. I'm not sure if you knew this, Rob, or Riley for that matter. So when we bring our new folks to come in to be call center agents, they go through a 7-week training program. So they literally are in training 8 hours a day for 7 straight weeks just to get to the point where they can actually talk to another person on the phone. Yeah. And you know what? I mean, that's expensive, but it's totally worthwhile, because ultimately when our members call in, I mean, they've got serious problems that they need help with. And it's I get goosebumps when I walk down in our member services area and I listen to these young people, because invariably they're young people, and listen to them talking, and I mean, they're not like just talking from their heart, but they're talking from a good base of knowledge as well. And
this is in West Bend, Wisconsin. This is not overseas. This is an outsource. No. It's really cool. It's a cool building.
When you call the USCCA and you're on the phone, you're talking to someone that most likely lives in West Bend, works in West Bend, either used to be in the military or they're a firearms instructor. I mean, so many of our folks are firearms instructors.
No, it's a huge point. So, Riley, we've run 3 instructor development sessions for USCCA leadership and staff to kind of figure out how this synergy works, right? Making sure the verbiage is consistent with the concealed carry home defense fundamentals, instructors and all that, and because we say things a lot of different ways, but they mean the same thing. So that process of the synergy having to be there, we've had supervisors from the call center team who also are USCCA instructors, some of whom have been students with ICE or even ICE certified defensive firearms coaches in these classes. So it's not just the guy who's teaching the class in Topeka. It's not just the guy who's teaching class in Florida. It's also the leadership of the entire system on my side and the USCCA side that has to be familiar with this stuff, or that you lose that integrity. You lose that follow through.
Lose the integrity, and also there's this chance for confusion, miscommunication. Like, wait a minute, so and so said it this way, and so and so said it this way. Oh, it's the same thing. And we need to be on point.
Yeah, what impresses me obviously about your organization, and Rob is dead on as far as the organization and what you've put into building that organization. It's very apparent to me that you care about having the right people doing the right things. It's evident in your culture from the top down. It has been explained to me, the process that all of your call agents go through, and the fact that you won't put somebody on the phones if they're not cut out for it, if they're not the right people to be doing that. hire slow, fire fast. I know that's a big time philosophy at USCCA. Now I know that sounds maybe harsh to maybe some of even those that are viewing, but it's critical because you're looking for the best people that are also helping some of what I think are the best people in our industry, as far that are active concealed carriers, self-defense minded individuals, responsibly armed Americans, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, and thanks for that, Riley, and I'm sure Rob will agree with me when I say that. I mean, the business that we're in, that we're all in here, is sure we're not making phones, we're not making widgets, we're not making washing machines. I mean, we're giving people tools to save their lives. I mean, I personally think this is on a little different plane. It's a little more serious, and so therefore, going through those steps to ensure that when so-and-so calls from the middle of Kansas, that they're talking to someone that knows what they're talking about. That's important to me.
Yeah, it is. It's life and death stuff, and that can't be understated. It's not melodramatic. It's not hyperbole. Literally, that's what we're doing, right? And whether we're talking about the selection of your first gun, the choice to carry the gun or not, right? The choice to when to introduce other family members to the staged guns in your home and deal with kids and guns in the same house. Responsibly armed is the theme. It's the back of the shirts that everybody got that pre-registered here, and I love that, right? We hashtag responsibly armed constantly in a lot of our training and education. And that goes all the way through, obviously, the USCCA helping people prepare for the aftermath, and educating people about what that aftermath could be like, and not through fear-mongering or, you're foolish if you don't do this or foolish if you don't do that. Here's the facts. Here's the steps you take at the beginning. Here's the steps you take even before you start learning the skills to select the right gear. And then here's the things you should do to be prepared for the aftermath. Again, there's integrity to the way USCCA approaches it. And people ask me, like, well, does that mean you're going to be, like, pitching the insurance and doing all that? I go, pitching. I've been a lifetime member for over a decade. Right? I rely on it. So that's a sales pitch. It's a sales pitch. It's, I think, the best, the most high quality version of aftermath preparation that people have. So, do I have any reservations or qualms about me or my team being associated with that? Absolutely not. It used to. It's like a red dot sight on an AR. People used to say, should I have a red dot sight? 10, 12 years ago. Now they just say, which red dot sight should I have? And I think that concealed carry preparation, the aftermath for the economic impact afterwards for the concealed carry insurance stuff. Now people, 5 years ago, they were saying, what do you think? Now they're saying, which company, which project, which program, and this is it.
Yeah, awesome. So you got things coming. I know you do. But obviously, we're excited about the new book. Rob, can you maybe give us a quick overview as far as, what are there any major changes, updates? What should people look for in the new book?
This book has pictures, which is neat, because my other books, this is like my 7th or 8th book. The other books pretty much just have words. And words are good. Like, it's a book. That's what it should have. But what it is, I joked when Michael Martin first came out with his first, really, even before he was with USCCA, with the Concealed Carry Home Defense Fundamentals book, when it was his first version of the Minnesota Guide to Concealed Carry that he wrote, using some of my stuff, and cited all with permission, all good stuff there. I said, this is the prettiest presentation. I had written 2 books on the topic by then. I said, this is the prettiest presentation of my information I've ever seen. This is great. Will you help me with my next book? And it's taken a long time, but Ken and Kurt and Kevin, all the guys that are involved in content production here have helped me do that, right? So you've got an amazing team. Oh my gosh, it's just such a great team. So look, there's pictures and illustrations and graphs and stuff. It's awesome. So the information certainly has evolved. Our instructor development has evolved. It changes, but it's not a reinvention for the sake of reinvention. It's we found a better way to say that, or we used to talk about 6 natural reactions that heavily impact how you train, how you should carry your gear, how you should plan on responding, and what you should think about doing in the fight. Well, about 4 or 5 years ago, after the counter ambush program actually that we launched together, I realized, there's one other one that we sort of talk about, but we don't explicitly teach it in our instructor development. So we got to change it. It's nice to say there's 3 external and 3 internal, but guess what? There's 4 external we need to talk about. So this book is the first presentation at the fundamental level outside of our instructor development process that adds in that 7th element, that the importance of which has become apparent over the last 4, 5, 6 years that wasn't there 10 years ago. So it's not, the drills have evolved, the drills have changed, the way we talk about neuroscience. We know more about the way the brain and body interact than we did 10 years ago. As a society, as a human population, we know more about the way people learn to develop intuitive skills. So if this isn't influenced by that, shame on me. Right? It's got to evolve. It's got to move. And we don't just refresh the book to refresh the book. It's not like, we just wanted to put the USCCA brand on it. We would have just reprinted the other book. No big deal. But this is new information. It's evolved information. So if you have the older books, you'll see the foundation, but you'll also see the evolution.
Wow, that's great.
Certainly the presentation is on a complete another level, as Rob talked about. So just quick rewind here, Rob. I'm curious because I'm certainly aware of some of the awesome people that work on that content team to help put these products together. How was it working with that group?
Oh man, so I'm very much like, I don't do like schedules or organization well, right? And so here's the schedule organization like entity. They're like, we know we will start this on this day, and 72 and a half days later the books will be in the print order, will be there, and then 13 days later it will be. And I'm like, well, that's cool, but why don't we just have a meeting and we'll just take some pictures, and I'm sure it'll be fine. So like I'll get like an email like, hey, we're doing video to support. We're going to do a whole online explanation education piece for the end users and for the instructor development, so that before you even get to the range, you're already really familiar with these concepts, right, through the video, and hopefully you've read the book and seen the stuff at Personal Defense Network, all that. So I have to come in and do the video. So like, okay, we want an outline. Like I think the word script was used. I've done 120 DVDs. I've been on 18 TV shows. I've been hundreds of episodes of television, countless videos all over the internet, things like this. I do 119 DVDs we've produced since 2005. I haven't done a script yet. If you tell me I have a script, I'm going to think about that third word in the sixth sentence and then worry I messed it up. I'm extemporaneous, right? Like it's my passion, it's my work of my body of work is really much more organic in that student may need to hear it differently than that student. And if they ask a question, I'll follow that tangent and I'll work my way back to what my point is, but I'm not on a script. So when they're there, but somebody has to like take a picture, write a caption, draw a graph, do the layout, know about how many chapters there are, and I'm like, we'll count the chapters when we're done. That's how there will be. That's how many chapters there will be. I don't know. Well, you've been doing this for a long time, and I think what's funny is, so then you get like a graphic design person who's like, somebody's been like, yeah, this guy's an expert. He's been teaching all over. He travels the world. He's got a team of instructors. This is going to be the greatest thing ever. And he's like, so how many graphs do you think you need? Like, how many of your concepts are supported by graphs? And I'm like, I don't know. How many graphs do you like to do in a book? I don't know. Well, let's figure. We'll find out together. So it's definitely been a getting to know you kind of thing. And what's funny is, inevitably, I start to see where there's value in a little more organization and a little more planning, and they start to trust me that I'm going to show up at 8:59 for the 9 o'clock video shoot, and at 9:02 we've already got the first clip done and we're moving, right? So they have
which I'm sure they appreciated that.
Once that, by lunch on the first day of video, they're like, okay, this is okay, all right. But they were pretty sure we were not going to get anything done. So now we're doing the second one, and the whole thing starts up. So it's like, hey, can you send us can we just get maybe an outline? They're not asking for a script. So we're going to meet in the middle, and the content turns out to be great because they're flexible enough to do their jobs really well. They now trust that I can do my part really well, even without a script and planning. So it's been fun.
Those poor guys. I mean, working between. I mean, obviously the same team has to work with me from time to time.
Right.
You and I are total polar opposites.
Oh, I know.
I mean, I'm like, wait a second. I didn't see this script 4 weeks ago. What the heck do you expect me to do? I mean,
they had like, they said, well, Tim likes to, make sure we get everything, the lighting, and this is, I'm like, all right, that's cool. Like, I'm shorter than Tim, and I don't have hair. So all I need is powder and like a chair.
How about this one? So I believe maybe the week before you came into the office in West Bend to do a bunch of shooting, I had to film a whole bunch of stuff in the studio, and it was like 75 degrees in there.
Oh,
and
I remember this.
I mean, I'm not going to say I went off the hook, but I was frustrated. I'm like, guys, this is ridiculous. Now I'm dripping in sweat. Are you kidding me? And so I said, from now on, it needs to be 64 or below. And guess what? Game on. They made that happen.
Yeah.
And so poor Robin had come in the next week, and it's like a refrigerator in that place.
And that was the whole thing. They're like, well, Tim, and I'm like, look, I've known Tim for a long time, and I knew Tim before he was Tim. Give me touch of thermostat. Come here. I get it. Like, you don't want to get fired. Somebody video me. Like, Tim can come find me later that I changed the temperature. Like, I get it. But that was like, because you're right. I don't know what happened that day, but no one was touching that thermostat. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, I don't think I'm going to get fired. I don't even know that I've been hired yet. I'm sure I can't get fired for changing the temperature. It's 62 degrees, and I'm wearing a T-shirt, and it's becoming like awkward.
Oh man, that's a funny story right there. Thanks for sharing that.
Oh man,
wow.
I'm sweating.
You want me to turn the thermostat down? 'Cause I'll do it. I don't care.
I don't know where it is, but
here.
if you can find it, I mean,
I'll stand on Derek's shoulders.
More power to you.
I don't care.
Just as we kind of get closer to wrapping up here, we talked with you yesterday about the show. great show. I mean, look at it today. I mean, it is
amazing.
just getting slammed out there. Your impressions of the show?
I think it's a turning point. I think these events tend to have like kind of that hockey stick kind of thing as they grow, where people are like, I didn't even know that was a thing, and then all of a sudden, boom. I think it looks like it's pretty well on track to double last year's attendance from Dallas,
Easily.
right? And people would look at it and say, Dallas, it's Texas, it's guns, it's America. Like, how could Dallas not be bigger than Louisville? Well, it's not just where you put it. It's kind of how you put it and who's coming to it and how you market it. I think that USCCA has learned a lot about organization, about event organization, about event marketing, about obviously they've grown. Like, we watch the numbers grow, but that hockey stick is this year. I think next year this will be a 5-figure attendance event. It's going to grow to be one of the best events and most education-oriented events, not just the stuff and the thing and the hat and the concerts, but it's really, this is going to be about education. I think it's going to continue to be that. I'm happy to be playing a role in it. My team has, we every year, it's funny, we have our instructor conference in September, and we sort of plan out the next year, and we set our theme for our instructor leadership and all that, and we say, okay, what are the events that we're going to attend in force? And there's a whole bunch of, hashtag CFS team, ICE instructors and affiliates and hosts for the tour and everything else that are here this week, because this was the focus. Of course, we knew the book launch, we knew what else was happening, but USC, this is becoming a very important event to the industry. I'm talking to the exhibitors who, some of them are like, we love the USCCA, but last year wasn't as big as we wanted it to be. We're here, we're hoping this is the year. And yesterday they were just like, wow. At 3:15, you saw it. Because at 2 o'clock, the elite members got to come in, right? That's the other thing. USCCA is great about taking care of their members. We, at PDN, we have our premium members, and we have our gold members, and we do some extra special things for the gold members, and I see what happens with USCCA, and you see what works. And they take great care of their elite members. So they came in a little early. So there were hundreds of people in here, but it didn't look like a busy show. And I think some of the exhibitors forgot that it was like staggered, because then at 3 o'clock, there were hundreds of people, hundreds more coming. And all of a sudden the aisles were full, and they're like, whoa, what happened? Oh, it actually opened. That wasn't even open yet, and it was kind of busy.
Well, and to see the people, lining up out there.
Right,
I mean, I took a picture this morning after I got done with my presentation, because I was like, holy cow, look at this line. I just was so thrilled and so excited to see that, and also be a part of all this, and together with you guys as well. So,
I think this is going to become the premier concealed carry educational expo in the country within a couple of years. It's going to be recognized as that. I think the people here know, they see the difference, they feel the difference, they see what's going on in the demo stage, all the presentations and seminars that started yesterday morning.
Yep.
You're being here, you're broadcasting here. I think people are recognizing there's a live fire range in the expo hall. UTM, Tony Lambre, I think, was Tony just here?
We just had him on.
So Tony's got the UTM range set up with USCCA instructors helping him run scenarios. USCCA instructors are at the shooting range. This is more obviously educationally oriented than any event of this scale that's ever gone on that I'm aware of. It doesn't have the politics, doesn't have a lot of other stuff that are distractions from, I think, the heart of what I want to do in this industry, and the heart of what Tim, I think, wants to do, and what USCCA wants to do, and I think what these people want and need. Yeah. This is about good gear, good people, good concepts, good education, and preparation for that worst case scenario, preparation for the aftermath of that worst case scenario, and quite honestly, like being around good people and having a good time while you do it.
Yeah. That's right now my favorite aspect of this show is just the unbelievable family atmosphere. So last night at the concert, I mean, it literally felt like, you're meeting long lost friends, and it was a blast. And as to like the success of this specific show, I'm overwhelmed. I mean, last year Texas was great. Texas was better than Georgia or Atlanta, but this is just phenomenal. Yeah. And I really have to throw some shout outs to the tens of, there's probably 50 people at Delta that work their butts off to make this happen. Of course, Katie Ruback, we all know Katie.
Yes. Katie's another one that always wants me to like have a schedule and a place. She's like, what are you going to talk about? Shooting? Defensive shooting?
Yeah, but seriously, that young woman she's a rock star. She is, talk about like an unflappable Teflon skin, just a fantastic person.
Yeah.
And this goes to the point, Rob, you said before about, a lot of the magic of making a positive impact on a lot of people is surrounding yourself with people that are smarter and better looking than you are, and that's why I know.
That's right.
I'm like, if you start wearing a tie, I don't know what I'm gonna do, because that's like I just throw the tie on because this guy constantly he's got the untucked look. You got the untucked thing nailed. I need a lapel pin. I don't know why I don't have a lapel pin.
I think he can make that happen.
I probably could.
Well, folks, this has been great. I hope you've enjoyed this interview together with Tim and Rob. Tim, Rob, thank you so much for your time. enjoy the show.
Hey, and thanks for what you do. We've kind of talked past you, but honestly, concealcarry.com is a great resource, and I'm seeing you more and more at the shows. We did something like this at the SHOT Show with Rob Latham. We sat down. I know you kind of run around. I love that you have this whole stage set up, and you got your crew. I mean, this is I've watched you grow. I've watched your organization grow, and I'm so glad to see you partnered up this closely with USCCA, and I appreciate you. And every time we get to work together, even if we're just hanging out in Denver, having a beverage and catching up. And congratulations on the family edition last week.
Thank you.
And thank you for everything you guys do.
Yeah.